Chapter 1: The Fence and the Stranger. Dust rode the wind across the dying edge of Dry Creek, a worn-out town clinging to the desert like an old man to his final breath. The air was dry, cracked, and stained with old sins. Every boarded-up saloon and weathered church whispered stories too cruel for daylight. On the edge of town, beside a sun-bleached cattle fence, a girl no older than 18 hung limp by her wrists, tied cruelly with hemp rope, her face sunburnt and lips cracked from thirst. Her eyes were half closed, though they fluttered open when hooves thundered up the trail. Eli McAllister reined in his horse. He wasn't much to look at anymore, graying at the temples, scars along his jawline from an old knife fight, and the weight of silence hanging off him like an invisible saddle. Folks called him the quiet cowboy, a drifter with a haunted past and no need for company. He'd buried a wife and a baby long ago, and since then he roamed cattle lands with only his horse Jack for companionship. But even a broken man couldn't ignore the sight before him. She looked at him with fear first, like a feral thing, then confusion, then nothing at all. Who did this? Eli's voice was low, graveled in the wind. Her parched lips barely parted. Pa drank, got mad I wouldn't marry the man he owed. Eli dismounted, reached for his knife and cut the ropes. The girl collapsed and he caught her in his arms like she weighed nothing at all. Chapter 2: Mercy's Fire. Her name was Mercy, and the irony of it stung Eli's heart. He took her to his ranch outside Dry Creek, where the grass fought to grow, and the only sounds at night were coyotes and the wind whispering through the prairie. For days, Mercy barely spoke, eating only broth, sleeping in fits. She had bruises up and down her back, old and new, and one of her ribs was cracked. Eli didn't ask questions. He didn't need answers. He gave her a bed, water, and silence, the kind that healed. "I can work," she said on the fourth morning, standing in the kitchen doorway barefoot. "I don't want to be a burden." He looked up from his coffee. "You're not, but I don't want to feel useless." He nodded once. "Then help me mend the chicken fence later. Coyote's been at it again." That became their rhythm. Quiet days spent fixing, cleaning, repairing. Mercy in worn clothes, too big for her. Eli always keeping his distance, never speaking more than needed. But at night, he'd sit on the porch and she'd join him, sipping coffee with milk and sugar and staring at the stars. One night she asked, "Why'd you save me?" Eli didn't turn. "Because no one saved my wife." She looked at him with wide eyes full of questions. He didn't answer them. But from then on, she sat closer beside him. Chapter 3: Wolves Return. Dry Creek was never safe. The law wore its badge like a joke, and the real power rested with the Carter brothers, 3 outlaws who ran the town like a sick game. Eli had had dealings with them years ago, ugly ones. They caught wind of Mercy. It wasn't long before one of the brothers, Jed Carter, showed up at Eli's ranch, spitting tobacco and grinning like a snake. "You've got something don't belong to you, McAllister." Eli stood on the porch, rifle in hand, calm as ever. "She ain't a thing to belong." Jed sneered. "Her pa owed us and she was the payment. That makes her ours." Eli's jaw tightened. "That debt's gone now. And if you come back, you'll leave with less than you came." Jed didn't laugh. He just tipped his hat. "You always did think you were better, but that girl's gonna cost you." When he left, Mercy appeared behind the door. She was trembling, face pale. "I heard what he said. Eli, they'll kill you." He looked at her for a long moment. "Let them try." Chapter 4: The Fire Inside. The Carter brothers didn't wait long. A week later, Eli and Mercy returned from town with supplies, only to find their barn burned to the ground, chickens dead, and pay your dues painted in blood on the corral fence. Mercy dropped to her knees. Why are they doing this? Eli helped her up. Because men like that think they own pain, but I've carried worse. That night, she found him in the barn's remains, hammering nails into new planks. She kneeled beside him, tears streaking her cheeks. I don't want to be the reason you get killed. Eli stopped hammering. You're not, and I'd rather die with purpose than live with ghosts. He looked at her, really looked. Her eyes were stormy, fierce now. The scared girl from the fence was gone. I'm not leaving, she whispered. He nodded. Then we fight. Chapter 5. Blood in Dry Creek. They prepared. Mercy learned to shoot. Turns out she was a natural with a rifle. Eli dug up old guns from under floorboards. They set traps around the property, braced the porch with sandbags, and waited. The Carter brothers came at night. 3 of them, 6 more with them, fire in their eyes, torches in hand. Mercy stood beside Eli on the porch, rifle in hand. You sure? He asked quietly. She looked at him, chin high. I've been running my whole life. I'm not running anymore. The shootout was fast and brutal. Bullets tore through wood, dirt flew, men screamed. Eli took one to the shoulder, but didn't fall. Mercy dropped 2 of the Carter's men with clean, deadly shots. Jed tried to sneak around the barn, but Mercy caught him, rifle aimed dead center. You ain't got it in you, he laughed. Then she pulled the trigger. Eli watched as Jed fell, and Mercy stood, breathing hard, smoke rising from the barrel. After the last man ran, silence returned. Eli dropped to his knees, wounded but alive. Mercy rushed to him. You're bleeding. He smiled through the pain. Still breathing, though. Chapter 6. Redemption Under Stars. Eli healed slowly, with Mercy tending him. Days turned to weeks, and slowly the ranch began to live again. New wood went up where fire had burned, new animals came, and for the first time in years, laughter returned to Eli's porch. One evening, with fireflies blinking in the tall grass, Eli turned to Mercy. She looked older now, not in age, but in strength. The world had thrown its worst at her, and she'd stood taller. I never thought I'd have peace again, he said. She took his hand. Neither did I. A pause, long and warm. I love you, Eli, she whispered. He looked at her, eyes soft. I know. And I love you too. There were no rings, no ceremonies, just 2 broken people who had found something whole in each other. And as the wind carried the scent of prairie sage and the stars lit up above, they sat side by side, no longer alone. Epilogue. Dry Creek's Whisper. In time, folks in Dry Creek changed their tune. The Carter brothers were gone. Eli's ranch became a place of shelter for others who had nowhere else to go. Runaways, wounded souls, people looking for redemption. Mercy taught the girls to shoot and ride. Eli taught the boys to be men without violence. They never had children of their own, but they became mother and father to many. And every night, when the porch grew cool and quiet, they'd sit hand in hand, proof that even in a land as cruel as the Wild West, love could still bloom in the dust.